What is up, YouTube? Welcome to Panpro Games, and today we're going over the English patch notes for Pokemon Unite, and we are on the eve of the mobile update, and there are so many changes coming to Pokemon Unite. It's actually very exciting. It's reinvigorated myself to enjoy the game even more than before. And before we dive in, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. So not only are we getting a full set of patch notes, but we are also getting a full set of skins here. So we're getting the astronaut Gengar, we're getting basketball Snorlax, we're getting space Lucario, we already got this Blastoise, and we're gonna get this cowboy Garchomp and this buccaneer Charizard. So there's so much hype already in the costumes. I'm very excited for the different costumes. And also it looks like Sylveon and Mamoswine will be coming very soon after we get the mobile update. So the meta is going to completely shift, and we're apparently getting new items as well. So that's going to be crazy. Of course, mobile crossplay with Switch. So we're going to have a bunch of phone people in the game now. So that's going to change a lot of things. And of course, a whole new battle pass. So Pokemon Unite Season 1.5 is here, and I'm super excited to dive in. But we got so many balance changes I want to go over, and it's really going to shift the entire meta. And thank you, Joe Merritt from Cerebi, for creating this list. I really appreciate it. And Absol is getting some big buffs. We're going to be getting a cooldown decrease on Night Slash and Sucker Punch. Night Slash's range is going to go down a little bit, but Sucker Punch's duration of hindrance is going to go up. So this is very important, as no one is really using Sucker Punch right now, so Sucker Punch may be viable. But the fact that Night Slash is also getting a cooldown decrease means this moveset was going to be very viable and may actually put Absol in a playable state, because currently Absol is not in a playable state, and it really could end up being a playable state. So we'll be checking in on Absol later. Zeraora, everyone's menace, especially of low tier. Well, now that Zeraora has been hit by the Nerf hammer, we'll see how he does, because Slash has reduced the amount of attack stun, so just less DPS and then less damage per hit, so less hits and less damage. So they really killed Slash. Honestly, it's pretty brutal. I mean, the period between the moves of Spark have been increased, and increases the amount of consecutive wild charge attacks while using Spark. That is pretty good. We got a Spark buff here, so we'll see if Spark is going to be picked up more over Volt Switch. I think that'll be pretty interesting. And Wild Charge is just not used, period. So they reduce the cooldown and the reduced damage received when using the attack. So we'll see. So it's like, I think mostly it's a nerf for Zeraora. I think the early game nerf is the biggest part of this. It's just going to make Zeraora way less threatening in lane and in jungle. So I think that's a huge nerf. I don't think Wild Charge is going to be run still. It's just not as good. And Spark's interesting. I think Spark could be run over Volt Switch, but we'll see. And then Charizard, my man is getting a new skin, but he is also getting a little bit of buffs here. So Fire Punch will now burn the target when hitting multiple opponents. That's really good. That's just good. More stats being spread around. And Flamethrower now increases the movement speed, so that's very interesting as well. Fire Blast cooldown decreased. This is a full kit. Like, he's getting buffed in every regard. And then his ultimate, now increasing damage dealt by basic attacks and restores their HP when damaging opponents. And then they redo the cooldown was increased though. So not everything was necessarily buffed, but I think Seismic Land is one of the best ultimates in the game, and this is incredible. Cooldown increase, that's fine. I mean, it's an ultimate ability, and ultimate abilities charge up pretty fast in this game, so I don't think that actually matters. Restores your HP when damaging opponents is massive, which means Charizard will not die. In my opinion, he already did not die before. Now he's regenerating health. So Charizard all is free, beyond free at this point, so that's crazy. And now Venusaur coming in with the buffs. Giga Drain increases the reduction of damage user receives after use. Wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, honestly. This is just gonna make Venusaur even more tanky when he's diving in. And of course, we buff Petal Dance with Giga Drain to fit that kit really well. So we're going to increase the total damage done, reduce the cooldown, and increase the movement speed for longer. Pedal Dance just got a huge steroid. I'm actually very excited to try Pedal Dance Giga Drain more. I just did a video on the channel, if you want to check it out, on Pedal Dance Giga Drain Venusaur. It's very interesting. It's not as good as Solar Beam right now, but now with this patch, I think it's going to be really competitive, honestly. So Cinderace is getting increased damage on Pyro Ball and a cooldown reduction. That is really good. Pyro Ball needed that. I've always been a fan of Pyro Ball, but damn, now it's going to probably be the picked move in this case, honestly. I really think it's going to be the choice for Cinderace builds going forward. And Flame Charge got a cooldown reduction, which is great because honestly, we needed this for our early game. We really needed that for our early game. And they fixed some bugs. But that is overall net positive for Cinderace. So now Talonflame is just getting a raw attack increase. That's very interesting. So Talonflame already had insane attack, and now it's just buffed even further, and that's ridiculous. Honestly, that's really crazy. I like it though. What Talonflame needed was to kill enemies faster. It was either that or get more bulk, and I feel like bulk is just not the goal of the Pokemon, so this works really well. And Fly getting a cooldown reduction and increased movement speed in the air makes Talonflame even harder to catch and increases that movement, and I really think it's finally going to encapsulate what Talonflame's trying to been doing, which is like leave a fight immediately, come in out of nowhere and like take a kill and leave. I think that's gonna be really good. And Flame Sweep is now more chargeable, so it seems like you're gonna be able to use it more. Okay, so here's the most interesting note. We're getting to the most interesting notes, is these next three. Garchomp is having a raw defense and special defense increase. So remember last time this happened in the game? And Wigglytuff became the best Pokemon in the entire game? I think this could happen with Garchomp. This is actually huge. This could be this could literally change the entire meta. This is a buff that can change the entire game. And then Rough Skin adjusts activation delay. Well, that could mean Rough Skin will proc more often. So that is crazy. And I'm really afraid of Garchomp, especially because this is a defense and special defense increase, not just for Garchomp. This is like Gibble and Gabite too, obviously. It's going to be different scaling, increased scaling. This is going to be crazy. I think Garchomp, especially because it has a new outfit, they're going to make it really good. I think Garchomp could hit A tier now, maybe even S tier. And then Kings have to die sometimes. Sometimes Kings must die. As Greninja is getting even more squishy. So Greninja before was tied with Cinderace for the lowest HP in the entire game, and now he's gonna have even less HP than Cinderace. So Greninja is beyond frail, and now they're lowering his overall attack. So squishier, from tied for the squishiest to now officially the squishiest, and now reducing his attack. That's crazy. They are buffing Substitute, and they are making the Unite move more chargeable, but they're also nerfing Torrent, which is his passive, and reducing the attack boost. So what this says to me is Greninja is no longer an S tier or even A tier. I feel like it's going to be a straight B tier Pokemon or even C tier. I think this kills the Pokemon. I really think this kills the Pokemon. This is ridiculous. I didn't actually think Greninja was too much of a problem because Blastoise exists now, and Blastoise did not get any nerfs. So this is just making Blastoise the best jungler in the game, and probably the best Pokemon in the game when we get to the Wigglytuff nerfs. It's just gonna be crazy that they did not even touch Blastoise. But yeah, back to Greninja. Greninja pretty much just got killed here, and I think Surf Greninja especially got killed. Water Shuriken Greninja is gonna go up, just because Greninja does not want to be in the middle of a fight. Like, if you go into the middle of a fight, you need to make sure you get those kills. I don't think that's happening with those attack decrease though. It's gonna be pretty brutal, especially with the torrent reduction, because Greninja usually is always in low HP because your Pokemon's just so frail. So I just think this is gonna really hurt him. But Water Shuriken is probably gonna be played up more, but I think Greninja is not gonna be a hard lock anytime soon. And so Wigglytuff got like killed in so many different areas. It's sort of crazy. Special attack reduction. So Wigglytuff will not be doing crazy damage anymore in the early game. Thank God. Pound lowered, Dazzling Gleam lowered. So that's huge. That's huge. So especially, not only special attack lowered, Pound is lowered. So that early game is pretty much removed for the Wigglytuff early game lane. And then Dazzling Gleam got lowered damage. I would equate Dazzling Gleam before this buff, a nerf, as a shotgun blast to the head. And now it is probably just going to tickle you. And Sing, fixed bug where Pokemon remain asleep even with attack. So apparently this entire time Sing was bugged. Same with Yawn for Snorlax. So when the Pokemon was asleep, if you hit it, it wouldn't wake up. Now apparently it was actually supposed to be when the Pokemon falls asleep and you hit it, it will wake up. So now Sing is completely nerfed. That really hurts Sing, really like badly. And I think this was probably the most important nerf of the entire patch notes, just because we don't want this. We just don't want this. Straight up, like Wigglytuff would go into a group, use Sing, and then win the team fight because everyone's asleep, and everyone on their team just like use ultimates and just burst them all down while they're sleeping. So glad that happened. And then Cute Charm activation gap reduced. So I guess this means, so if the active, so this would mean this is a nerf to Cute Charm. Okay, the activation gap reduced would mean less activation. So yeah, I think Wigglytuff just got put into like B tier or C tier straight up. I think these are massive nerfs. These are the Greninja Wigglytuff nerfs are game changing nerfs. These are definitely the biggest game changing nerfs so far. And Garchomp, I think Garchomp massive buff. Greninja, Wigglytuff massive. Just I think they're gonna be out of S tier easily. And then we have the Cram. So Cram got a mixed bag. So it increased damage for boosted attack, but Surf got hit with a nerf. Dive got buffed because no one was using Dive, which I actually like Dive, so I'm happy about that. But they lowered the damage on Gold Missile, which means this Pokemon probably won't be used as much because the Unite move was what made Cramorant so nasty in Masters, and it's gone. It's honestly gone. Depending on how bad this is, Cramorant will probably be reduced back to actually B tier because it really was an A tier Pokemon. I just never was a big fan, but it's probably going to stay in B tier. And then Lucario got a little bit touched. So they reduced Power Punch, which is necessary. I agree. They just needed to do this. Damage increase or close combat. Increase the amount of hits. And then you fix the bug. Okay, so close combat is not as good as the Bone Toss still. Just because the other move, if once you use it, removes the cooldown of Power Up Punch or your or Extreme Speed immediately. So I don't think close combat will ever be picked just because it doesn't have that extra utility. It doesn't have that extra synergy with your build, but close combat, doing more damage is cool. I did some close combat yesterday with Lucario. I mean, it's just not as good. I mean, it does a lot more damage, but at the same time, you know, you use your two moves and you're like, okay, I'm sort of stuck. Alone Ninetales fixed some issues with some bugs, not a big deal. Eldegoss fix the bug HP recovery is pretty nice, and improve movement effects. So slight buff for Eldegoss. Snorlax got also affected by the Wigglytuff sleep bug. So now when you yawn someone, they're gonna wake up after you hit them. So I think yawn is sort of dead. Fix a little error of lick, which is whatever. So Mr. Mime, when upgrading, boost the amount of stored barriers to maximum. All right. So that's good. So more barriers. And they fixed Garchomp, which they needed to. Slow grow, nothing too big. Same with Machamp. And then Blastoise. Big thing about Blastoise, they didn't do anything important. They straight up didn't do anything important with Blastoise. They fixed some bugs necessary, but at the end of the day, it's probably gonna be the best Pokemon. And in my head, I'm looking at Blastoise and Lucario being the two best Pokemon still. And the Wigglytuff and Greninja are not going to be, I think they're gonna be at max B. I don't think they're gonna go to A. I think these nerfs are massive, and I think Garchomp has potential to be an S tier Pokemon. So let me know what you think in the comments below about these patch notes, and let me know what you want to see in the future for Pokemon Unite and any other content. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out and have a good one.